Yeah.
Peace, peace.
You know they say it when it rains and pours. It falls so heavy from the
Good
clouds that
fam.
you ain't have no choice but
Every Monday
faces.
virtual check-in for the community, for the people then. Yo, shout out to Young Boy Problem. Make sure y'all tap in. That new Young Boy Problem when it rains it pours. YouTube. Yeah. So virtual check-in every Monday. Keep in connection with the community. Big topic today. Today we're going to be discussing, man, Imposter Syndrome, man. I want to hear from peoples, man. Let me know if you even know what that means. Add that in the chat to let us know who made these rules for us. I can never beat these house brothers. If it's our world and how it is, they try and build them one without brothers. People die. Young Boy, aka Marley Zion. Hey, symbolic. Peace, peace.
What's up?
Yeah, man, just get it.
Patient here.
No worries, man. We're just getting the Monday set off right. Getting all set up, man. That's that new Young Boy Problem, aka Marley Zion. You know, when it rains, it pours, man. Bleeker's finest, man. One of my young people, man, who started off in program and now co-facilitates a lot of workshops with me, man. So it's beautiful to see the youth come and, you know, develop and grow into themselves. And now they're the ones who are mentoring the young people coming up, you know what I mean? So, you know, hopefully the brother will tap in. Oh, I see the brother here. You know what? Let me see if he's available to jump in for a quick second, man. See the brother, man, out here. Yeah, man. This is our weekly check-in. You good, fam? Please let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10. Add that in the chat. 1 being not so great, 10 being amazing. Please let us know. Today we're talking about imposter syndrome, yo. Imposter syndrome.
Peace, G.
Hey, jeez.
What you saying, bro? You all right?
Yeah, we got the young guy here, man. Peace.
Peace, my brother.
Man, we just
how y'all doing?
I'm doing well, man. For the intro track, I put on "When It Rains, It Pours," man. So, you know, I had to let these people know, man. That's a tune that I'm bumping these days. It's it brings so much great reflection. It's soulful. It's just something you just want to like put your headphones on and just bike ride through the city to. You feel me? Like it just has that kind of vibe, man. So salute to you for coming through. Everybody's just
respect, bro.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Everyone who's joining us, this is our weekly check-in. You good, fam? Right here on SFA_community. Please let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being not so great, 10 being amazing. We'd love to hear from you as we check in. Today, we're going to be discussing imposter syndrome. And, you know, I know that the young homie here, you know, he got a busy day, busy schedule, but I definitely want to hear some of his perspectives because, you know what I mean? I know we kind of touch on these topics a bit, you know what I mean? But I like to hear like a younger perspective, you know, of like what you guys are going through in this time of age.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into that, man, I guess we can check in with ourselves, man. So why don't you you know, set it off for us, man? Like, you know, for those who don't know, Young Boy is like, you know, like one of the founders of the You Good Fam check-in. You know what I mean? Like right there from the beginning, man, the OG. So it's great to have you you know, checking in again. So why don't you let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10?
For sure. I say right now I'm feeling about like a 7. You know what I mean? I just woke up. I'm just working on my assignment, man.
Okay.
That I was talking about, you know, that university assignment.
Jeez,
actually, the stuff that I'm working on right now, it's a lot like I can bring up in the topic that we're speaking about too. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
About imposter syndrome and stuff. Because right now we're going through it's like, do people create their own reality? You know what I mean? Stuff like that, you know. So things like that, you know. So we can get into it, you know what I mean?
Beautiful. Well, we'll definitely get into that, man. Yo, Symbolic, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
You know, just doing what I do at this point in the conversation, letting heads know.
Okay, spreading the gospel.
Yeah, just putting the word out quick, fast. Now that said, man, I'd say, what am I at? I really have to stop hitting these buttons because, you know.
No, it's all good.
But all right there, that's it. Experience Ramble though. Gotta send them their personal shout out.
Yeah,
Kofi,
yeah.
All right. Seeing all these names just got me like even already a little bit nicer. I'm
Got
gonna
you, got
say
you.
7. I'm at 7.
Okay,
7.5.
okay. No doubt, no doubt. All right, man. I guess like, like I'll definitely tap in. I would say I'm feeling like an 8. You know what I mean? Feeling up, feeling motivated and whatnot, and at the same time just going with the flow. I see Freedom Jay Burton, man. Shout out the brother, man. Freedom is a must. Yeah, man. Respect for joining us. Yeah, no, I'm feeling good today, man. It's always great to start off my Mondays and get into the flow and build. And I think today's a really important topic. Like we're talking about imposter syndrome, and a lot of us, when we have all kinds of accomplishments and we're moving forward, sometimes we don't even feel it feels awkward. You know what I mean? Like I know like me and Mars, we had conversations of like, where people will like big you up and being like, yo, that's a sick tune, or like, yo, like you're doing amazing things, and you're just like, yeah, it's light, man. You just kind of brush it off. But then when it comes to like negativity, like we hug that. We hold on to that for dear life. We be like in the shower thinking about like, yo, man, like this guy said that to me, like, yo. But when it's like positivity, man, we just kind of throw it away, like we don't even want to embrace it. So definitely something to build on. But yeah, man. So people in the chat, let us know how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being not so great, 10 being amazing. We like to keep it interactive and whatnot. Drop your number in the chat. Let us know where you at. And today's topic, man, is imposter syndrome. Like a lot of people see us doing amazing things, and sometimes like like we feel weird about it. I know sometimes like when I see like the success and people big me up, like sometimes it's awkward. It's weird. Where does this come from? Is this like insecurities, self-doubt? Like what is it? So I'm curious to know, man. Maybe I'll just pass it over to Young Boy, because I know he's fresh in the thought. So maybe if you want to share some of your perspectives on imposter syndrome, man, that'll be super blessed.
Let
Oh,
me
hold on.
just
Yeah,
Okay, go
absolutely.
ahead.
give Nigeria a shout out in the place. The tune is in the house, so I just want to give that shout out. Shout out to
Please.
everybody who's in the chat. Please do, as Logic said, 1 to 10. All right, go ahead. I just saw Nigeria in the house, so I wanted to give some love.
Nah, you already know. So, all right. So when we talk about imposter syndrome and stuff like that, it makes me think about like what has someone experienced, or what is it that they perceive that makes up their reality. You know what I'm saying? Not only the reality of everything going on around them, but within themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like the same way that we know that something is capable for us because something that we experienced from the past has given us this confidence or this certainty, like, okay, I accomplished this, I'm able to do it. You know what I'm saying? But same thing with the mistakes and the things that we aren't able to accomplish, And we kind of build up this imaginary capability or not being capable. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have skills in one area, that the same place, it's like you don't believe in yourself because things that you have experienced have given you this comprehension that you weren't able to be resilient in that. You know what I mean?
100%.
So I feel like imposter syndrome comes from that. How people reflect on themselves and things around them. It really inspires the decisions that they make and the way that they move forward in their reality. You know what I mean?
Nah, like you definitely nailed it there too, man. Because I think our experiences, like that we've gone through, definitely shapes how we process certain things. And when you speak about environment, the first thing that came to mind, because even when I think about my life, it's a lot of things like stem back from like childhood and just experiences. You know what I mean? Like maybe someone said, "Yo, you're not good enough," or like you think this you're like the sickest man. You think you're ill, like you're not. And then you're like, oh shoot, like maybe I'm not, you know what I mean? And then we internalize these different perspectives, and it definitely connects with self-esteem and the way how we see ourselves, right? Because like you said, it is the world that we create and the way how we experience it. So so when we hold these types of thoughts and they shape our views, even when we're moved so far removed from those original like environments, and now we're in different spaces, and people are like, you know, like now ready to receive our gifts and like what we bring to the table. We're not even ready for it. You feel me? And I know that you know, like we spoke about that, Mars, before. Maybe you could speak about your own personal experiences of just like, you know, receiving like praise from some of your accomplishments, and you know, sometimes it's awkward, you know what I mean, to even be like, yo, like,
Yeah.
so yeah, go ahead, brother.
Nah, definitely. I think that this comes from a place where it's like, you know, I came to this realization. It's like, and I talk about it all the time when we do check-ins. It's like, you know, we wouldn't treat the people that we love and care about so much and we respect how we be treating ourselves sometimes, you know? And I mean that in aspects of like, you know, like the way that you talk to yourself, you know? When you do a small win, when you accomplish something small, you know, how are you treating yourself? What are you saying? You know? And especially when you're going through hard times, you know, what is it that you're saying to yourself? What are you reflecting? You know what I mean? And that just makes me think about, like, you know, when bad things happen, like you talked about earlier, people is like, we value the bad things because it hurts us, you know? But in the same way, it's like, if we value the very small wins that we take and the very small steps and changes that we make in our every single day, it will give us that that sense of abundance opposed to scarcity mindset. You know what I mean? Because scarcity mindset is you're lacking, you know? But abundance is like, you know, there's just that energy source, you're really tapped into it, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, it's all within you, you know? It's not on the outside. It's not external things, you know what I'm saying?
It's interesting, like as you speak, something that came to mind, and I just saw it, where it's like the value system, you know, like what we value is so crucial, because we're so conditioned to like value like the negativity, to value like the trauma, and like that's what we put our energy on, but we don't value like the healing, or you know, the elevation, you know, like that's like something that's just like, you know, not presented. Even when I just scroll on social media, right? Because now we're talking value systems, you know, like where do we put our energy? What do we see of value? And whatever we put our energy towards, like that's what, like, you know, like grows essentially, right? And so
Yeah.
like just reflecting on that, you know, and then when I think of like the negativity, it is coming from a scarce like mindset. It's like this limited, as opposed to knowing that, you know, there is abundance, that we are enough, there's more than enough for everybody. You know, people don't have to be like excluded or eliminated and whatnot. Like there's a time and a place for everything. We just have to have the wisdom to know the difference.
No, for sure. And my bad, fam. I don't mean to, you know, take up too
No,
much
for
space.
sure.
I'm gonna pass it to the brother just now. But I think that has a lot to do with like, just like, you know, our past and our foundation, you know what I mean? Maybe there was things that we've experienced in the past where it's like, we don't know how to celebrate ourselves when we're doing good. Because maybe all we're so used to was being a failure. You know, even look at my name, my AKA, Young Boy Problem. I'm calling myself a problem when I'm 15 years old because I drew up this understanding that, oh, in school I wasn't doing good. I'm getting in trouble. I'm hustling. You know what I mean? So due to these circumstances and my reality, that's how I'm perceiving myself. You know what I mean? And that has a big effect on the choices that I make and how I see myself, how I see my world, and how I live my life, my culture. You know what I'm saying?
True indeed, man. Yo,
Yeah.
before I pass it off to Symbolic to get in the chats, there's something that I always say, and this is what keeps me to like rewire our, like, you know, our programming, our mental programming, is that, you know, our experiences are part of our journey, but they're not like our identity, right? Because like oftentimes,
Absolutely.
like we take this on, someone says that, oh, you're bad, or there's something wrong with you, and then you internalize this. I mean, let me speak for myself, man. I internalize this, right? And then that's how I like
Yeah.
perceive the world. And it's like, okay, well, if I'm bad, this is all I can do, you know, until you come across people that see the good in you, and they're like, no, hold on, you know, that's just something that happened, you know, that's just an experience, you know, like what did you learn from this experience, and what could you do differently now it becomes like a learning opportunity, you know what I mean? So just want to put out there. But yeah, go ahead on, Symbolic. I know some chats are going off. Big up to the people contributing. Enough love.
Yeah, for sure. See Frosty Rock sending love. Definitely at Young Boy Problems. Says family. Lots of fire. We got mini sons. Sorry, I'm going to shorten that for the sake of this. saying love, brother, talk. Let the youths know mental health is mental health. Okay, word up. Okay, there. That's what I was expecting. There's a correction. Mental health is wealth. Basically, mental wealth. Big up
Absolutely.
in the place. Freedom for Jay Burton says I try. Come back. Frosty Raw says we ain't ready for that kind of power. I see Steve Harmony in the place. Big up to you with 100%. The very talented Steve Harmony. Minnie says facts. Frosty Raw says real hard facts. Trindies says big ups. Dats says 100%. Double 100% and applause. Steve Harmony says what's going on? Symbolic. Yo, we're here every week checking in with our people. It's good to have you here. Minnie says, Minnie says, fam, a problem. Super articulates brother from Young. Glad to see growth, family.
True indeed.
Respect my brother.
What's that? Sorry,
I was just saying respect, you know.
Word up. So Trendy says, love is love. Chef Gula says, when I think of the NBA, especially lately with teams like Miami, many of their successful players were undrafted. They used the Imposter Syndrome as fuel and are the best team in the East.
Okay. Great. I like that. We can think about how we can like shift this energy, man. Okay.
Right. Yeah, and how we can see this subject matter being imposter syndrome in different aspects. Appreciate it. Frosty Raw says sometimes people value the small wind too much. Is it wind or was it wind? Anyways, too much and become complacent and get satisfied with just enough.
Just enough. Okay.
Right. Good point.
That's a big fact.
Old heads giving us the strength.
Yeah.
Minnie says facts. Frosty Raw said we too weak-minded. I try to get my children to acknowledge the small wins, but act like you've been here before. Celebrate the real wins and separate the two. All right.
Okay.
Mindy says boom, boom, boom. That's how I interpret that sound, or that what's written. The tune says this crazy positive discussion. That's how we do every Monday. Start off the week right. And then he gave us some applause. I see Nadia High in the place. Big up. I know Nadia from here, but down south, I found out she bounced out down south somewhere in the U.S. of A. Big up. Staying the vibe out there. Nadia says good morning with some sunshine. Big up Rodeo. And Fanny, I see you in the place. Fanny did that they were working in a work situation, but they'd be
okay. It's funny because I just sent her a quick request. I was like, "Oh, Fanny, tap in," but it's all good though. You're here, always blessing. For those who are just joining us, man, we're discussing imposter syndrome, which I feel like a lot of us, creative peoples, people who are in community doing activism, just doing what we do just to empower, man. We kind of go through this, or maybe you're outside of that scope and you're still going through it. You know what I mean? But it's wild. Let's just get
yo, my bad, cuz I don't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say, yo, could you hear the construction in the background?
No, it's okay.
No, okay, all right, yes.
Yo, shout out. I am Tiffany saying good morning, Kings, man. I'm in lurk mode on the 9 to 5 grind, but love what y'all doing. So peace, give thanks for y'all being here. We appreciate that. When it comes to it's imposter syndrome. I know, for myself, I'm in the realm of education, you know, in schools. I found myself in meetings with just like highly educated people, people who have all kinds of degrees and PhDs and, you know, directors in the board of education and so on and so forth. And then there's me who's like, I don't have none of those degrees, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still in these spaces, you know, I get invited to these spaces. What I bring to the table is seen of value, but sometimes like I feel like a fish out of water, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's gotten better over the years, but I'm thinking about like my early days of just being at these like round tables and spaces. I'm just like, man, like, how am I even here? Like, this doesn't even make any sense, you know, and just feeling like this, like less value. But what has helped me work through that type of emotion that was like, you know, if I wasn't of value and if I didn't have something to bring to the table, I wouldn't be at the table. You know what I mean? Like I started thinking about all the doors that were closed for me because there's enough doors that I'd be knocking on and no answer. But then there's other doors that open up and now I'm here and it's just like, well, why am I here? So I just kind of trained myself to be like, you know what? I am enough and what I have is useful and whatever I say, it will do what it needs to do. You know what I mean? And work from that. And sometimes it's still uncomfortable. Like I still get called for meetings and, you know, to host certain events and whatnot. And I'm like, yo, this is still kind of wild to me, man. I'm still in this like mindset that I had since I was a childhood of like, you know, dimming my light and not being able to like, you know, shine and whatnot, you know. But like I said, you know, like enough doors closed, man. If you're getting invited to tables, regardless if you feel that you don't deserve to be there, believe it, man. Like you're there for a reason because as we know, you know, enough doors closed, you know. So when they're open, embrace it and just say thank you. And that's another like, you know, technique that I use too. When people will give me all kinds of big ups and like, yo, Logic, man, like you're doing such an amazing job, like all this stuff for the community. I don't know how you do it. I'm just like, I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Even when I fight myself trying to like reject it and deny it, I just say thank you and give thanks, right? Because the way how I look at it is like, yo, people want to say negative things to you. They will go out of their way to tell you and everybody that you care about the negative energy they want to say. But when someone takes the time out to give that vibe to you, it's like, yo, embrace it. Because think about the amount of people that will think that but won't tell you. You feel me? That's a whole other like category. But anyways, man, I see IMT Fanny saying great way to look at it. You know, if I'm here, I'm supposed to be here. And then Kemya, yo, shout out Kemya, man. Yo, brother, enough love. You know what I mean? Saying don't be humble, man. Walk in your glory. Yeah, absolutely. I know he's doing a fantastic job, you know, like raising the seeds then with that type of mindset. And that's how I raise my kids too. A lot of my experiences of insecurities that I've gone through, like I don't want my kid, I want that to be so foreign to my kids where they don't even like understand that. They can walk into spaces with ultimate confidence, you know what I mean? So that's also part of my healing process. But anyway, Symbolic, man, what are your views and experiences with you know, imposter syndrome?
Right. What you just said got me to thinking, I think it's a very different thing depending on, you know, I think it's hard for me to say problem, just what you were mentioning about what we've gone through. As Black people specifically, this is something we need to look at and have an understanding around, because there are people who, I always say they talk like, you know, like the startup kind of fast talkers. And I mean, not that there aren't Black people, but they're big. This is a place of comfort for, you know, for white people. And so that puts us at a disadvantage because, you know, when people are in this world, this system we're living in, someone says, I have all the answers, it seems to be preferable. And so I like humble personally, but I get in this context exactly how we can be so humble that someone will take ours. They'll take our food out of our mouth, etc. So I see this as kind of like, again, this balance where I do like the idea of being humble, and it maybe is even just knowing that it's not our own credit. It is, we are in balance and in alignment, and we are vessels. We're one with, you know, the creation. But there are people who will be like, oh, this is mine. Oh, I had this great idea. It's all about me. And so that's, I think, the the flip side. If you have imposter syndrome, then you're probably not that person. And you know, so I don't know why, but another thing that comes to mind is hip hop. Yeah, were you gonna say?
I was just gonna add, because lately I've been struggling with the word humble and the word like ego. So I'm gonna read this definition of humble, because it's not what we think, and this kind of gets into like the science of words and whatnot. And this is I gotta shout out my brother Raz Fresco, man, because he's always really big on like like what's the actual meaning of these words, right? So a definition of humble is not having a high opinion of oneself.
Damn.
You have plenty of ability, but you're too humble. It's and another one is like unimportant. Having a low position in society, etc. Like humble beginnings, humble origins, and whatnot. So
I don't like it now.
It's not. But that's what I'm saying. It's not the way how we think. I think what it is, it's really about being like assertive, and having this like discretion. I think that's really what the word is, like discretion, right? Because you're not gonna, you don't necessarily have to like walk into a space and like say, I'm the man. Like your whole energy and presence can just command that by itself. You know what I mean? There's a certain way to carry yourself where you don't have to, right? Where people know not to mess with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like like I know Mars knows what I'm talking about, man. You walk into certain spaces and there's certain men's, they don't even speak, but they're not the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not the one, man. You know what I mean? And they're humble with it. I mean, from the way how we understand it, not by the definition. Humble in the sense of like, they're at peace. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like,
honey, the energy speaks for itself.
Indeed.
So one thing I want to. Oh, I was going to close that thought, but you want to?
No. That I because as you said that, I was like, let me just look this up real quick, because I remember like the definition was kind of wild. But yeah, go ahead.
Good move, because that actually gets into what I was going to say next. Nevertheless, which is, see, when Black people, the braggaboast that's known in hip hop.
Yep.
Now, if someone else takes that and has that attitude, that's a very different thing. That whole application. So us being assertive, having confidence, crushing the imposter syndrome, like not only I don't have the research, but I would imagine that more people who are, let's say, in the ghetto, or more people who are, in a quote lower caste, would have imposter syndrome than say someone who's just been groomed, that they've been being told that they are, they're going to be the leader one day.
I can definitely. I just want to add on to that, and I'll pass it over to people in the chat if you want to add in. I remember talking with a friend of mine, who grew up. I mean, for lack of a better word, like pretty rich, man, pretty well off. Private school, all that. Literally doesn't have to like work a day in his life, like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of crazy. And just like as you're saying, the way how they're groomed, and like from a cultural perspective, is that like the world is their oyster. Like they can do like whatever. Like, so this idea of like limitations and like this self-regulation like doesn't even exist. Like we can look at it from like like the colonizer like mindset, where it's just like, I go explore and just take whatever I want kind of mentality. You know what I mean? Like this restriction doesn't even exist. But when it comes to like our community, especially the way how we're raised, like we're from a young age taught that this world is not ours. We're taught to be like quiet in the cut, like be seen but not heard. Don't touch that, don't do that, don't run there, don't do, you know what I'm saying? And like as young Black bodies, man, we're busy. We gotta move, man. We running around, but we're always told no. This place is not yours. You can't do this. It's only in this particular location at this particular time where you have that type of freedom. And these are all like subtleties, I think, that show up in many different ways, whether it's functional or dysfunctional. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to add that in there. Yeah, I don't know, Mars, if you've experienced that, you know what I mean, where it's feeling like limited, or where it's like this world isn't yours and you kind of got to like, try to navigate and figure that out.
Yo, definitely, fam. But it was like, knowledge of myself helped me with that. And when I speak about that, it's like learning the history of my people and learning the history of like the world, You know? I mean, that put me in some places where I was uncomfortable because I was like, say a word, like, you know, I never went back. But if I didn't go back, like you need to do the knowledge and understand the foundation, you know, and why everything is the way that it is now, you know? And especially when it comes to us as a people, as black folks, you know what I mean? I was even thinking, I was even speaking, you know how we were talking about how sometimes it's like we feel imposter syndrome because it's like we may not celebrate ourselves or we think that we're not capable of a certain reality or a certain life or mentality or whatever it may be, you know? When I think about not only the black community, but just us as humans, do we practice celebrating others?
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Because I think it speaks a lot if like, you know, if we're able to celebrate ourselves and acknowledge ourselves in a certain aspect, we're going to be able to transfer that energy into celebrating other people because other people are you. You know what I'm saying? We're all connected.
Facts.
Yes, we're individual, but you know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
We're still people, dog.
Indeed.
And your actions affect me, my actions affect you, thoughts, whatever, you know, and the list goes on.
Now,
So that was
as
just
you're
something I was
talking, like
thinking
there's
about, you
something
know?
that like I may say this for another topic to really, talk about like inferiority, superiority complexes, but the celebration of others that you speak of, like I see it twofold. There's like others as in like other people in our community, but then there's like the general way of like how, us in the Black community, African diaspora community, celebrate other people and other cultures. It's like some more times we're
Absolutely.
like more accepting and lenient and supportive of others. Like everybody's getting invited to the cookout, everybody's getting invited to the barbecue, but like God forbid, like the man them do one thing that's wrong. It's like, yo, you're canceled forever. It's like, you know what I mean? So there's this like, it's like this like racial insecurity, and then also like a personalized like insecurities like that deal with this imposter syndrome. Where even if we see a next person who may be coming out from the same circumstance as us, and we see them moving up in the ranks, and all of a sudden getting certain like status and whatnot, we're quick to be like, nah, man, that guy ain't it. This guy, what's he doing there, man? He don't got a degree. Why is he up in front of the students teaching? You feel me? Like it becomes this
No, exactly.
crabs in the bucket, whatever you want to call it from. But it's interesting, yo.
Nah, for sure, fam. And I think that has like, you know, that's a great point, bro. That's exactly what I'm speaking about, you know what I mean? And I think that the more that we can practice celebrating other people, that will teach us how to celebrate ourselves, you know?
Indeed.
But there's so much like, you know, there's so much things that have happened that created this circumstance, you know? Like it's not just like, oh, like people don't celebrate people. It's like, okay, but why though? You know?
Yeah.
Colonization,
Mm.
you know,
Uh-oh.
slavery, all of these things, oppression, it all plays a part in it in our psyche. You know what I mean?
Yeah, keep divided. Go ahead, man. I see symbolic, man. I know there's some chats and comments, man. Would you build on that?
Yeah,
Peace.
definitely. I see Treason saying, "Young boy, boss man."
Come
Word,
on, yo. Come on. The young general, yo. How you mean?
Peace.
word up. You got T Fanny. Said last night I had fellow artists show up for my first show, and I couldn't understand how they're here for me when I paid and looked up to them 2 years ago. Do I deserve to be where I am so quickly? No,
Ooh.
that's you definitely deserve. You're putting in the work, and it's not. There's no time frame in terms of like the time is now. So big ups, T Fanny. I see that Logic wants to say
Yeah,
something
no, I
before
just
I
want to
jump.
add on to that because like the idea, especially when things are moving quickly, yo, like when you're in alignment, yo, man, that's how the universe works, yo. Like it's rapid. Like things just start flying, man. Like anyways, we'll save that for another day. But I just want to say to you, T Fanny, on that, like, when you think it's like, how's the saying go? Like overnight success takes years. You feel me? So
Right.
even when she's like thinking about like, oh, it's my first event, whatever, think about like all the energy that led up to that. You know what I mean? Like starting in your artistry and then just like getting, cultivating this idea. Like I'm sure that wasn't just like an overnight thing. You know what I mean? It's a whole like development, but it's also the energy that you bring to the table. You know what I mean? Like people want to be around positivity. I don't know anybody who like goes out of their way to be around negative people. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they exist. I don't know. But people want to be around things that are moving. People want to be around things that are like magnetic and that bring harmony and that are inspiring. So when you like, bring this to the table and you see the people that you're looking up to, what that is, like that's an affirmation. That's there to let you know that you're on these levels. That's there to let
Mm.
you know that you bring value to the table. You know what I mean? So in those moments, all you got to say is thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm.
you're right. They could have been anywhere else in the world, but they decided to be there with you on that particular day in that particular moment. So all you got to say is thank you, and then from there is just nurturing those relationships. Because when you show that value and you show them purchase, all that does it just it amplifies. Before you know it, you're getting called to be in other conversations. And like I said, when you're in alignment, the universe moves mad fast, yo. Like it's fast, and you got to be able to hit all those points, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when things are slow, it's slow, and enjoy that. But when you're in alignment, ride that wave. That's all I got to say to that, man.
Yeah, and it just shows as well, like that the scene is healthy. If you're someone who, was there looking up to people, and then you're at a show and they're there to support, that means your lineage is on.
It goes
Yeah.
back to what Mars was talking about, man. Like bigging up others, that community. We gotta circulate the energy. Like you'll hear us say that a lot, in this live, and that's why we're tapping into the viewers. Like you may not be on camera right now, but you're still part of the conversation. You're still part of the panel. You know what I'm saying? So we got to circulate that energy. You feel me? But I see there's more comments in the chat, man. Let's make sure we get everybody's voice heard.
Yeah, let's do that. MT Fanny goes on. My peers have been working in work from time, putting in work maybe.
Yeah.
That's my personal struggle. Word up. No, we love you, T Fanny. Enough love.
And it's her personal blessing, the fact that she's able to move so quickly. You know what I mean? That's also a gift. You know what I mean? So just look at it like that. Like, yeah, for some people it might take them 10 years, but maybe for you it took you 2 months. That's peace. That's peace, yo. So it's a big
also, no, that, and also that's like, okay, let's say someone having kids and then they have kids. Would you want things to be moving? So like, let's put it this way: Toronto hip hop in the '80s, Mishi and Maestro and these people had to go to New York and travel to find the opportunities.
Right.
And so now for you to be in Calgary and then have old school people, like the expectation would be that it's easier for you. That's what I would say,
Got you.
It means things are moving. If there was no hip hop, now someone introduces hip hop, now you're able to get on shows and be dope. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Calvin, I see T Fanny giving some love to Ras with the fire. Calvin, Mars Bar.
Mars bars. Yo, I'm gonna use that.
That's an OG name.
Mars bars. Yo.
Oh,
Crazy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mars bars.
Mars bar. Yeah, it's crazy. That's where Mars comes from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some history there. Some background stories.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, no. Okay, I'll just finish up reading this. Well, you mean Mars bars though? Like you used to love them? Is that where you got your nickname? Are you just saying that?
No, not even, fam. It's just because my name is Mars Bar. I mean, my name is Marley, so I used to call myself Mars Bar Bleaks, running around the hood.
Mars bar. But
people actually call me that too.
No, but I'm looking at it like Mars, like that's you, but then you're dropping bars. You know what I mean? So it's like Mars bars. Like, that's how I was taking it.
Yeah,
so same way.
I was rapping too.
Same way.
Yeah. I was just curious if he was like you were just this little kid, or you came from way back then. But anyways, yeah, we got you. It has the many meanings here in the place repping. So I see here Nanny Connie says, being humble, leave people in awe of you and how you move on the face of this earth. You are so connected. It's not about being old. boisterous.
Right.
Humbleness will get you much more in the world.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah, I think like, it's the humbleness that's not like associated with like low self-esteem, but it's kind of like the idea that I think like what the sisters, describing is like the idea that we are like vessels of the light, for lack of a better word, a vessel for, the greater cosmic energy to flow through us, and we're just kind of like, we're just the messenger, you know what I mean? Like it's a blessing for us to be used in such a delightful way, that's able to like empower and bring something of meaning to others, and that goes back to like that magnetic energy that I was talking about. Because when people see that, they want to gravitate towards it. They want to be around it. They're like, oh, this guy's not egocentric and just boaster and just like, like all about himself. It's like, no, like he really, brings a certain energy. So yeah, it's a balance, not to think lower of self, but to know that, like you're part of this like collective, so.
Mm-hmm. Word. So I see the tune says we go through this with our parents at Africa. I would want a little bit of clarification. It sounds like we're moving in a positive direction with that.
Yeah.
Always is. IMT Fanny says 100, 3 100s all connected. Nani says it breaks my heart when I speak to young adults and they don't feel the need to go back and understand the journey, the nuggets that they're missing. Big
man,
point right there.
It's all about the journey, man. The highs, the lows, like all of it, everything in between, man. It's all part of the bigger picture. Absolutely.
Word. KD by my lonely giving I think that's a fingers crossed symbol right there.
Okay.
One of these. Soon you're gonna see me rocking like the old man glasses to read these. So, but it's all right. It's all good.
All right.
So says recently in war-torn Afghanistan, they placed a law to prevent women from attending school past grade 6. Realistically, it will be difficult to build a nation with laws that cripple half the population. Word. I did hear.
You know something? This speaks to a lot. Thank you for sharing that information. Like, I definitely want to do some more research on that. But this also connects with this topic very well. And then it also thinks about like, makes me think about like the Black experience in general in North America or places like South Africa or wherever, colonization has, spread its wings. The difficulty of building a nation without this type of knowledge being passed down, start from grade 6 and how that cripples the population. I think about, segregated schools or like where like, Black people will be like thrown in jail if you were reading, you know what I'm saying? Like all these different things that like really prevented us from actually self-actualizing, and how that would play into like the psyche of like, now we think of like cross like the generational traumas and things that are passed down, and what are the impacts of that, like we're not building on like the legacy of like wealth like other cultures have, you know what I mean, where it's like 10th generation wealth. Like we're literally rebuilding the cycle every generation of like working through trauma and healing and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? Like from a general speaking, and then we look at like a collective consciousness, there's this collective healing that's happening that we're experiencing as well. So there's been a lot of like interruptions in terms of like our like, development, whether it's personal or collective. And what I mean by that, I'm talking like, like mental, emotional, spiritual, all those interruptions have like prevented us from building self-esteem or having like, inferiority complexes. And that we know these are symptoms of white supremacy and how it manifests through culture, through traditions, through identity. It's literally everywhere to the point where you don't even notice it. So that comment just reminded me of that. And that's crazy that this is like happening today, in the war-torn Afghanistan. So thank you for sharing that. That's wild, yo. That's wild.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I love what you highlighted. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I just what you highlighted. Like, we've had this, an aggressive segment, a powerful segment of population actively said, you're not worthy. You're of no value. and then we haven't been able to properly address it. And then even those, while they remain relatively powerful, they're saying, get over it, it's in the past, while never addressing it. So now to imposter syndrome, it's like, yeah, of course. Like when you're told you're nothing, and in fact, if you go, 100 and 200% and achieve, you will have people who are saying you shouldn't be there, or you're just the only reason you're there is because of affirmative action or whatever, like. So I just wanted to put that out there before I jump back in these this work conversation. I thank you, Logic. I was like, yo, what's the subject? You said imposter. I was like, that, hell yeah, that can work. And by the way, one quick thing, I'll tell the story that I told you quick fast before I just finish these. Yep. When Logic mentioned imposter syndrome, I remembered that one of the first courses at the master's level, that I'm sitting in this room. I think maybe there were two black people, or rather, it was a mixed group of a master's group. I guess they say, at the time, you're not proposed, but I'm losing the word right now. But the bottom line is this class was about imposter syndrome. So you have a bunch of people who've done their undergrad level, and they have us prepping to start a master's, and they say, listen, this is normal. And they prepared, and talked with us about it. And so I thought it was really, interesting because, that wasn't talking from a Black cultural point of view, but they were preparing this group because it is a thing, that people thinking, and it could be debilitating. Like, to think you can't do something, that's the worst. It's even worse than if someone else thinks you can't do it. Because if you think you can't do it, you might not be able to do it. So I just wanted to say, that, it is a thing that they prepare people to think about, even at that level. But these are all adults and so forth. But it's like, beware, be warned. It is normal. You're all here because you deserve to be here. And that, I would just want to echo that for our families as I'm about to jump into this the chat. But I'll say, everyone, you're all here because you deserve to be here. In what you do, and we love you. We look up to you, and we support you. On that note, I see T. Danny says, I'm all about the universe alignment. I feel that logic 100%. Thank you. That's a blessed way to look at it. And I see G's, but I don't know how to say it. But yeah. Bimmer says, facts 100%. Word up. I see sign. I see sunshine. Big ups. Lady Vividly, there you are, saying peace and light, everyone. Enough love, Lady Vividly. Doing more than is even obvious. Enough love to you. Sign says, greetings, brothers, sisters too, because I know there's some sisters out there. So greetings,
salute,
brothers and sisters. Salute, right? I see you, Marcus. I'm T. Fanny. Says yes, symbolic, 100%. Hearts and prayers. Bimmer said, my boy Mars with the strength. AI design. See you. Oh, my sister, and from Ryerson back in the days. Paula, with the lovely soul, is in the house. Nanny's giving the 100s. Nadia High Music, big ups. It's going to be some beautiful and positive music. So Nadia says yes, a messenger.
That's it.
Word.
Vessel of light, yo.
Word up. We got a lot of.
Let's keep it going, man. We got tap, but we need this. It's gratitude is the love of the self. Gratitude is the love of the self. Word.
SKFR, I see you. The tune says, they don't understand. They need a better understanding of what life is all about. They believe success comes from reading and working. Interesting point. Well, yeah, success is a lot more than just reading and working. That's true. The tune goes on to say, but it comes from self-awareness. Okay, word up. 110.
Yeah.
Right. I see you, 110 with cheese. Brooklyn, I see you. I'm going through here. Big up MM. Lady Vividly says, live by intention. I know Logic is going to agree with that.
Intention, man. Yeah. We'll have like a special segment on that. You know what I mean? Because it's a magical word, man. It's a magical word, man. For real.
So Sign says, couldn't have said it better. I don't know which part where we were at, but man, a lot of beautiful sharing. Yeah. TD, see you. NGL, we see you. 22, we see you. All right, I see TD giving 100s. And I think, wait a second. Oh, yeah, I see 22 giving 100s, and I think we're caught up.
Peace, man. You already know. Shout out to everyone out here, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
Proper.
Charged up. I'm at like a 10 now. You know what I mean?
That's it, man.
It's good, bro. You got to communicate with people, meaningful conversations, you know what I mean?
Yo, that's how we build up, like, you know, that self-esteem, that's how we like affirm each other and let each other know that, hey man, like, yo, like you're here on purpose. Like your life, your existence is intentional. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like something that always keeps me going is to think about all the people that came before us for our like existence to exist right now. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, like your parents have two parents, and then it just keeps expanding. Before you know it, you got like you know, like a lot of ancestors, a couple thousand or whatever, that have led down the pipeline in order for you to exist. So if you need any more intention than that, it's like, yo, trust me, man. Like, if you were meant to be here, you wouldn't be here right now. You know what I mean? So you're here on purpose for a reason, and we have that energy that we can access. You know what I mean? So we're not alone. We got to remember, you know, all of that. You know what I mean? And I think that helps with like intention and purpose. And so when we walk into these spaces, it's like we're not walking in there alone. It's like this. We're like a living legacy, man. Like this is legendary, yo. And that's how we rewire our thoughts and our perspectives. So even when we feel like we don't deserve to be in certain positions, we got to understand that, like, yo, we're just a vessel. So even if it doesn't make sense to us, the fact that we're here, it's like, yo, just say, you know, ashe, thank you, and you know, like, trust the process. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the way how we got to look at it. You know, and don't worry about bad mind, you know what I mean? Because like they'll always be there, but put the energy in, because, you know, now intention is about where we put our energy and where we focus it. So those that are around you that want to you know, build you up and big you up, like, that's where you put the energy. That's where you focus on. You know what I'm saying? So like having these conversations, these check-ins, man, people look at me, it's like, yo, like, you're always on such a level-headed path, man, because, yo, I have like multiple types of these conversations. Mars knows, because we do a lot of stuff during the week. Like we have these conversations on the regular throughout the week. So for me, every day's church. You feel me? Every day's church. You know, like, I don't gotta wait till Sunday, man. We created ourselves. You feel me? So yeah, yo.
Nah, bro, much love. Yeah, man. I'm gonna just leave y'all with a couple, some closing words for everybody, yo, in terms of imposter syndrome, like you just said, Logic, man. You know what I mean? Yo, honestly, you know, when it comes to like our family, our experience, all of this, we carry this divine consciousness, you know what I mean? And we carry these experiences. We also carry this trauma too, you know what I mean? But it's a matter of tapping into it and understanding, are we going to use these things to help us move forward, or are these going to be the shackles that is on our minds and just to the custom of luck? You know, what is luck, right? You're your own luck, you know? So just know when you're stepping into these spaces, or you're thinking about, okay, how am I going to accomplish this goal? Do I have what it takes? You absolutely do. And yes, the external stuff, you know, what you see on the outside in the world, yes, that has an effect on your mind. But when you're tapping into these capabilities within yourself, it's all from within. So what I'm trying to say is you have everything that you need. It all comes from you. And yeah, man, just try to tap into that as much as you can and big yourself up when you're going through hard times, you know? I think that would be a good way to measure your peace and measure your integrity. You know what I'm saying? Because when we're going through the hardest times, that's when we need to love ourselves and the people who are going through hard times the most, you know? Let's just tap into that. So yeah, that's peace, fam.
Super peace. Give thanks, man. I know symbolic, and I know we're coming towards the end. Any last words or feedbacks? Anything you want to say? Anybody in the chat too, man. Whoever wants to like add on, please do. But symbolic, man. Like, what are some thoughts? Like, what are some of your takeaways, man, for today's session?
Man, I'm just energized by the conversation. I love the perspective. I love that. I will look at the word humble in a different way, with the understanding that people out there have the understanding, that I had before logic broke that down. So it's one to be careful about, but in the end of the day, we just need to go, and this exemplifies how community can invigorate, community from across the internet. And then at that point, we need to be just, confident and confident in ourselves.
Yeah.
And that confident in those around us. So again, we don't do the crab in a bucket thing. We say, oh, yo, I see you doing that. By the way, remember, Logic, you may remember Toronto heads were not trying to support other crews. No. There was a time, and for us to be like, yo, I see you doing that thing, big ups, I support, let me know how I can support you. Like, that is where we need to be. So, I think that
that's always a big question that I ask, like, moving forward. And this just helps to build community and how to keep things like, interactive. It's like, I always ask, like, how do you need to be supported? That's always like, I think, like a powerful connection or a way to connect, and just a powerful question to ask. You know what I mean? It's like the other level of like you good fam, of the check-in. It's like the part 2 to that. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, what else do you need on that? And then also too, what was I going to say, like, about like the being humble. It's like, for me, I don't need to, like, go into a space, into a room and brag about my accomplishments and what I've done. Like, I just let my actions speak for itself. Like, I don't have to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of let other people do that. If other people want to big me up and whatever, that's cool. And I think that's like the balance of like the humbleness. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna like dim my light or lower my vibration or to like stop doing my works, because I'm still gonna do what I need to do. But it's at the same time, I let it speak for itself. When people are like, yo, like, you work with youth, like, what do you do with the youth? And I'm like, I struggle with giving an answer. I'm like, yo, like, just talk to my youths and let them explain. You know what I mean? Like once you come to a program and see Wagwan, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna say like, well, I'm the best and I'll put on my cape and that's just weird to me. You know what I mean? It's so I think like that's, when we look at humble, it's like coming from that space, but it's really just saying, yeah, I'm just a vessel, and I just let like the work speak for itself. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, but I saw some comments. I don't know if you want to jump on that real quick.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss some up here. OGL, shout outs to my young, intelligent mind, young boy problem. Yeah, I saw you responded there. Big ups. MS, maybe mistaught her. I'm not sure, but it says facts. The tune says fam. That's some hearts and some emojis. Lady Vividly's giving mad hundreds. T Fanny says, needed to hear all of this today. Word. The tune is laughing his ass off. Let's see, 22 stayed. Is that stay? I don't know if that's supposed to be straight up, say, anyways, you guys been for the people 100, one love to you, 22. The tune, I think that's an Ashe. I think it's an Ashe. Miss Totter, energy, never die. Yeah, for real. The tune says attraction we work with. Right. Lady Vividly is giving some hearts. FIR said wise words. Dimmer, real talk. Moon says peace. Oh, we got more. Sorry, my thing just got wonky for a second. I saw one piece. Oh, okay, that's correct. Chef says, what do you do if your family is facing war? I draw to Ukraine, where people of all races are fleeing their homes. What would you say to your family to motivate them to rebuild? Well, that's a huge one. Nanny says, never stop giving the gift that the good Lord
hold on, before
gave.
you continue, I just want to give space to that comment, because that is pretty, heavy, and it feels like this person is really like going through that like right now. To be honest, I don't have, like the answers. I can't think of something at the moment, like it's so heavy. Like what do you say to your family to motivate them to rebuild when you're, dealing with like a war? I think in that moment, like the main thing is really just survival. You know what I mean? It's like, what can you do in the moment to just like feel safe first and foremost? And I don't even know what that actually means. What can you do to like, support each other, whoever is in the circumstances, to like support each other in that moment, to feel connected, to feel like love, at least love for each other, even if like the environments are not, showing love. I think in those moments, this is where like, like prayer and positive thoughts and, help. But in terms of like a tangible outcome in that moment, that's a very, very difficult, question to ask. And I thank you for bringing this to our attention, because I know that a lot of people are really, going through that. And, us being in North America, we have like certain privileges where we don't, these things are not as pressing, but at the same time, we're all like connected from like a human family perspective. Like, we're all impacted by things, whether we like it or not. So even if it appears that we're not connected, it's like we actually are. I just want to say thank you for bringing this to our attention, and us to, kind of give some space to this. And I just want to send peace, love, and light to your family who is in these circumstances. And I think just you reaching out to them and just let them know that you're thinking about them, and that other people are thinking about them as well, is a positive start, and doing whatever we can to like maintain connection and love, however that looks, as best as we can. So, just peace to y'all in that circumstance. Okay, go ahead, continue.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate slowing it down to give proper, attention to that comment. So now Nanny said, never stop giving the gift that the good Lord gave you, and that is continue to educate our brothers and sisters, because lineage is so important, and you all are doing a phenomenal job. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, that is very. Definitely a blessing.
See lots of flowers, you know what I mean? Lots of 100s.
We got like Silky Way, I think it's Turkey, so like out that side of the planet, popped in here. 22's giving facts. Yeah, we got a lot of, I see these emojis, 100 flowers. 22 says, what's more important, the flower or the soil that grows it? There you go. When we talk about this oneness,
right,
that's the type of way we need to be thinking. Like seriously, like one part of humanity is more important. Like,
right.
I mean,
We got like the
Lady.
flower, we got the soil, and we got the gardener as well. You know what I mean? And then we have like the
Mhm.
elements. Like it's a collective process. So, you know, when you look at it, it's not
Mhm.
just one or the other. Like everybody has their part and their role in it.
I came to a way of looking at life a long time ago, and it was like completely dismissed. Like
Yeah,
that's crazy talk, and it's
yeah.
simply that if we need the sun for survival, then the sun is a part of us. And
There we
like
go.
junior high was like, that's just ridiculous. You think like a weirdo, and I'm like, okay, but now literally decades later, and I'm like, I still think that. Thank you very much.
Uh,
I
hey
love
man,
that.
we're connected to the elements, yo. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll just add this in too, man, because like right now I'm in this like moon school. You know, I'm learning about like the elements of the moon throughout this time phase of like, you know, the new moon all the way to the full moon. And they're saying, you know, one thing that came up in the class was that you know, to be human is to be like of nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when we're thinking about being like, you know, nature, you know, or in being like, you know, in nature is connecting with the elements to be aligned. You know, when like I think we spoke about this in other sessions where, you know, a lot of like our civilizations are built around like the cosmos and like the elements and nature and whatnot. You know, like when harvest time is coming before winter, there's a certain sequence of events that take place in order for us to like better be prepared and to be in harmony with our elements. So like, you know, being part of nature is like our birthright. So just want to add that
Mm-hmm.
in there.
All right, and we're in overtime right now, but let's just finish up
The last
with
ones.
our
And yo, big up to the
last.
chats, man. Y'all are lively today, man. We appreciate the connection.
Yeah.
Make sure you tap in next week, every Monday, yo, 11 a.m. right here. You good family.
Mm. Word up every Monday. I see Eccentric Sam in the house. Big up, enough love.
Salute, salute.
You. Okay, so Bimmer says, I wish I can listen to. Oh, what happened? Okay, I wish I can listen more.
We're
Gonna
gonna get in trouble at work.
right.
Well,
Well, we're at the end anyway, so
yeah. Well, we don't want to get you in trouble. You can always catch the replay, man. We have all of our archives, you know what I mean? So make sure you can check out the different titles and subject matters and keep in tune to what we're doing. Mad love to everybody, man. We're going to sign off, man. Make sure you tune in every Monday for you good fam, our weekly community check-in. You know, we got some plans to do some stuff. Go ahead.
just because this was said before we started. Bimmer said positivity real in here. The positivity is real in here. So I
Hey,
want
man,
to just say
higher,
that last.
higher vibrations, man. Aspire higher, man. So that's what we're dealing with. So make sure y'all tap in next week. We're out here, man. You can always catch the replay. We appreciate the conversations, very fruitful. Let's keep inspiring. Let's keep connecting. Let's keep on activating, all right? And we out like that. So peace, y'all.